Hey, everybody. I just thought I would come and get on here and just pop in and go live because the same kind of energy has been, hanging around. And I wanted to speak to it because I've had a lot of people ask me about it. So thought I'd just pop on just without any notice. Just surprise, here I am doing a quick reading for the collective, channeled reading in the sense of in speaking to spirit about the same question that's kind of come up this past week. And it's like, God, I feel like I want to do so much stuff, but I don't know. And I've given so much stuff up and I feel like I need to go do things. Um, but like I can't get back into a jam and I can't, and I don't know what to do to move forward. But, or I do know what to do and it's not getting me anywhere. So I wanted to kind of address that because right now, we're in the energy, and this is much more emphasized right now because of the energy of what's going on um, right now. But in general, we all kind of go through this when we transfer. We make the decision to leave a version of ourselves in the past or to shed that version of ourselves so that we can step into the version of ourselves that has all the things that we want and where we want to go and all that kind of stuff. And there is this interesting in between time. So right now there was like all of this shedding for the first quarter of this year. People think the new year starts in January 1st, and that's a man-made thing, so that we all are like, we all show up to meetings and lunches and whatnot at, in the same time. Like if I say to my friend, I'm going to meet you on Thursday at such and such time, we're there. It's the same thing like New Year's, holidays. They're all kind of man-made, so we all have this kind of lexicon of participating in certain things at the same time. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably one of the kinds of people that is more attuned to feeling energy and what goes on, the different types of things that and activities that we're drawn to do at various times of year. Like in the winter, we're drawn to hibernate, really. We're drawn to cocoon. We're drawn to kind of go inward and do shadow work and recharge and renovate and reassess. And, how did the harvest go, both figuratively and literally? Like, and what do I want to do next spring? And what do I want to plant? That kind of stuff. And, for the first quarter of this year, I think there was this big emphasis on move forward, move forward, move forward. But there was so much, even though all the planets are direct, there's nothing really retrograde. And, we have some retrogrades coming, but there was like this whole like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or like not ever being able to get out of the gate feeling. And I think part of that is because we were living more along the lines of the shoulds. We should be moving forward. We should be doing this because New Year happened, January came and went, and we need to implement our resolutions and all this other stuff. But when in fact, like our technical New Year, you're still in winter. You're still in the cave in the hibernation mode. You might be sitting around with a piece of graph paper, if that's your jam, or on the digital planners or whatever, planting your garden, whether it be setting intentions for yourself to plant those kinds of seeds, or literally, I have my cousin likes to, plan her garden. She has this amazing garden in her yard and she plans and does all this stuff. So it might be a literal garden. It might be, a figurative garden where you're setting intentions of how you want your life to be for the rest of this year. And, I even had a friend send me an email that was like, hey, I know you want to get outside and garden, but don't do it. You need an entire week of 60-degree weather, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, get out of my brain. Because I think that's where we all are. We're ready to go. We're chomping at the bit to get going. But just one more week, because I'm looking at this calendar. And the next like month is going to be really interesting. Because we're in that energy of like, we're not even in the gate yet, much less, being told like get to the starting line or whatever. So, it's much more of a I'm thinking about going to the gate. So think about that. So I want to just share some dates with you guys so that you can kind of realize why we're feeling this way, why we're kind of chomping at the bit and not feeling like we're able to get anywhere, because you're not supposed to. Just always know you're in the right place. In fact, I was having this like whiny baby conversation with with a friend of mine last week. I was the whiny baby. I want to be really clear. I was the whiny baby. But last week, and she said to me, "Why are you being like this? You're still in winter. It's not time to emerge yet." So I was like, "Oh man, right?" So next week, next Tuesday, the 19th of March, is the spring equinox. That is the transition moment. That's the transition moment of when we leave the energy of hibernation and we come into the energy of waking up. We come into the energy of literally being able to plant and water the seeds and till the garden and get everything, like you might be out there getting things ready, but don't be planting. So don't disturb anything a whole lot. Maybe you're getting your seeds, you're ordering your things, you're writing your intentions list. But the 19th of March is when spring happens. That's the spring equinox. And that's the time where we kind of will start, come out wherever you are. Little munchkins coming out in Munchkin land, coming out and saying, okay, I'm coming out of the cave, I'm waking up. And you might be starting to feel that energy, but still not getting to go anywhere. But here's the cool thing. Here's the really interesting thing. For the first quarter of the year, you may have felt really not only like in that frustration mode, but like, oh my God, why is everything like so much releasing, so many things coming up, like old emotions to deal with, old relationship healings, old like stuff that's just coming up to be dealt with. And it's because this next eclipse season is huge. Okay. So what has to happen is you need to let go of all that old versions of you, because I feel like we all have so much light to give. We have so much to pour into the collective, so much love to be and step into that Aquarian mindset going forward. And so to be that person, to be like, when I start making lists, it's like at the bottom, I ask the question, who do I need to be to have all this? What would it take for me to have all this? These are conversations with the universe, okay? Not like where I'm sitting down and making another to-do list. It's more, show me what I need. And sometimes that will start bringing stuff up to get it processed and released. And that's what this first quarter has been about, because once we hit Tuesday, it's like we're, on like Donkey Kong, okay? So the more you've dealt with, processed, and released, the easier this is going to be for you. Because that is almost like that 19th is that first like, like if we're going to compare it to pregnancy and do this, that's like the water breaking and you're like, uh-oh. And then literally, or rather, let me back up. That's more like your nesting kicks in. Your nesting kicks in from the 19th through the 25th. Okay, so next week, it's almost like you're nesting. You're getting ready because your energy is like, something's getting ready to be born. So I got to nest. So that's why right now you may be like, oh my God, why is nothing happening? But I really feel like I need to like do the laundry, or figuratively speaking. So that's like going to be next week. The following week, the 25th, at the wee hours of the morning, is our lunar eclipse and full moon. That is when water breaks. And then you're in labor, going through the wormhole, the birth canal, for the next 2 weeks till the 4th. Let me see. It's either the 4th or the 8th. Come on now. It's the 8th. The 8th is the Great American Solar Eclipse, and that is the end cap of the eclipse season. So these next couple of weeks are going to be very transformational. You will not be the same you on April 9th of 2024 that you are today in March of 2024. Okay. So if you are one of those people that's like, why are things not moving? Oh my goodness. That's why. Because we're not there yet. But don't worry, we're going to get there on Tuesday. And come Tuesday, you're going to be like, why do I feel like I got to tidy everything up? Why do I got to get everything? Because water will break on the 25th. Then you have your 2 weeks of traveling through the birth canal to birth those new ideas, to kind of like all of a sudden, all the times that you've written out your intentions list of what you want to manifest, and you start asking those conversational questions of the universe of, what would it take for me to have all these things? What support system do I need in place to make sure that I'm supported as I do these things? Who do I need to be to do these things? as we're kind of getting that, that's kind of what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, you're going to be stepping in. You're going to start seeing that stuff unfold. And also, the stuff that comes up with eclipse season is very, the general stuff is we might see a lot of individuals that might be are well known or close to us transitioning away because their eclipses are also kind of like commencements. Commencement is the starting and the ending simultaneously. So there's going to be closure and new beginnings. And so some people's soul contracts will have culminated at that point, and we may see them leave. We may see relationships end. We may see relationships blossom. But when you're done, come like that third week of April, 1, 2, 3, yeah, like, is that it? I'm just looking at the calendar. April, yeah, that kind of like second, third week of April, that's when things start to settle down. I mean, we're going to head into a Mercury retrograde at that point, but don't worry. I mean, I want to do a whole video on, Mercury retrograde and how it's not that bad. You don't have to hide your kids or hide your wife. It's actually going to be really good for us because once we kind of go through all this stuff, that Mercury retrograde time is integration time, if you really want to look at it that way, so that these big changes have a slowdown to kind of integrate. Because if you eat and run around, you have a tendency to get a tummy cramp or throw up. So we want to make sure the energy is doing the things that we need to do to kind of help us. And if we allow for that instead of fighting against it, that's when you start seeing change happen. So as we head into next week, and I will probably pop on the 19th to kind of talk about the spring equinox. But I wanted to give an overview because I've had a lot of folks be saying, oh, it's just been so, that's why we're not ready to wake up yet. We got another week. And it's almost like, I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys you wake up in the morning and then you're like, let me just sleep a little bit more. That's kind of where we are. But you're at the same time, I want to sleep a little bit more, but oh, I got laundry to do. And you're having that that's the energy of right now until next Tuesday. But don't worry, it'll all get better. And I do want to say this. I posted something on social media probably Monday. It was just a little meme. And it got a lot of good feedback. And I think it's apropos for right now, because as we're moving through this, whether it is I'm setting a goal to do something, or I'm trying to rest right now, or I'm going to give myself that extra hour, or I'm going to give myself that till the 19th to just chill and rest and ponder and plan. And the quote is, does this support the life that I'm trying to create? So when we're talking about, even when we only usually think of that in terms of getting stuff done. Like if I'm going to plan a trip, or I'm going to do a job, or, I want to manifest $1 million, or I want 17 new clients, or whatever it is, but a lot of times we don't think of it in terms of rest. We don't think of it in terms of allowing and processing and all that kind of stuff. Because we're conditioned to only want to, or conditioned to believe that only good emotions are allowed and bad emotions aren't really worth anything. When in actuality, there isn't really good or bad. There just are, everything's processed differently. And we attribute feelings to things. So if you are feeling frustrated and process it, and it's part of the processing, sometimes when we're frustrated, we're in resistance to processing the emotions. So when you're in frustration feeling, asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? And the answer is usually no. So maybe figure out, how can I not be in frustration about not being at the starting gate just yet, which is that spring equinox moment? Would it feel better for me to just take a nap? Is that because I'm tired, but I'm wired? Would it be better for me to go, outside and go for a walk and be in nature and just commune a little bit more with myself, because I have a week left in that winter time? So as you're dealing with stuff, especially from now to the middle of April and going forward too, no matter what you're doing, whether it's I'm planting a garden, whether it's I'm resting, whether it's I'm trying to figure stuff out, is worrying about or trying to push into or push a boulder up a hill, if that's what it feels like, then asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create for myself? If the life I'm trying to create for myself is alignment with my soul purpose, which is love, joy, and abundance, does what I'm doing feel like love, joy, and abundance? Does this support the life I'm trying to create? And if the answer is no, change something, make a different choice. So I will probably pop on here again on Tuesday of next week. I'll do a live stream on the 19th of March for spring equinox in 2024. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, you're probably meant to see this, because this is, the does this support the life I'm trying to create thing, and that pre-launch of doing something, feeling, it's really, really evident in the beginning of the year, in that March, April timeframe, when we're shifting from Pisces to Aries, and kind of going from that commencement moment of ending a bunch of stuff and processing what that means, and then starting new things and processing what that means. That happens whenever we start something new. But right now, whether it's this year or other years, there are a lot of feelings around that. So this is poignant regardless of the time that you view it. But right now, the energy is kind of interesting. So I just wanted to hop on and share. And that's it for today. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I love you so much. And until next time, I'll see you in the vortex. Bye.